កម្មវិធីកិច្ចសន្ទនាកម្ពុជានិងពិភពលោក
Good evening, Excellency, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Cambodia Global Dialogue of Southeast Asia TV. Tonight we have a pleasure to have two people that are expert in their field, in the field of e-commerce or e-trade, whatever you call. But I think nowadays, when you go to different conference in different summit in the region, whether in Asia or Europe or in America, the word digital come about regularly. It's all about the fourth industrial revolution, the effect, the impact on the economy. Before we talk a lot about the trade of goods and service, now we talk a lot about digital exchange, right? Even Bitcoin, fintech. So I think it's important that Cambodia is a small country. How do we understand better the challenge and the opportunity arising from this new, what I like to call the fourth industrial revolution as coined by the World Economic Forum? So tonight we will discuss about e-trade and e-commerce, depending what people understand. And I have the pleasure to have with me Sophie and then Stephen. I won't bother introducing them, but I will let them to opportunity to introduce themselves. So Sophie, please, you start first.
So good evening, everybody. So my name is Sophie. I was born in Cambodia, and then at age 10, I went to France for study. And after graduated in MBA in supply chain in École supérieure de gestion in Paris, I co-found a company in logistics for e-commerce.
Good. And when did you come back from Cambodia?
I come back last year.
Last year, all
Yes.
right. Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
It's always good to have a Cambodian who went there abroad, expose, experience, educate, and at some point coming back home to help rebuild the country.
Yes.
Stephen.
Good evening, everybody. This is Stephen. I'm SVP of 4PX. Actually, so we were brought by Sophie, the local partner, to Cambodia. So we are a dedicated company for cross-border e-commerce logistics. So personally, I have years of experience in e-commerce. I have years of experience of logistics. So what we are doing now is e-commerce logistics for cross-border.
Good. Well, okay. So you mentioned logistics. How is it in this overall context of e-commerce or e-trade?
Yeah, for the e-trade cross-border logistics, so we are helping the sellers in China, in Taiwan, in different countries to sell their products to other countries. At the same time, we help the Chinese buyers or the buyers in Cambodia to buy the product online from other countries. So we facilitate the online cross-border parcels, online cross-border e-commerce like this.
Sophie, back to you. As a Cambodian who study in France, many people go to study accounting, management, law, but a specialized field of supply chains, that's very unheard of. What make you decide to like, supply chain? Very interesting to know, because I talk to a lot of people and most of them say, well, I study law, I study economics.
Yeah, I see.
Why supply chain?
Why? Because I always attracted by international trade, and then supply chain to me it's connecting international exchange,
Yes.
So to me, supply chain it's become my passion. Because today, after spending years in logistics for e-commerce, we are doing like a niche market. It's reverse logistics.
Okay.
To transform returns logistics for retailer and buyer. To give experience.
Well, so already I heard logistic and reverse logistic. That's quite a big name there. You know, a lot of people think about transport, you know, road, whatever. Then logistic become very much the attention. And you know, in the WTO, I mean, it's the trade facilitation is a very important agreement that was signed in Bali a few years ago. But before we get to the actual mechanism of logistic or reverse logistic, your company have a major investor, Alibaba.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Tell how you start 4PX, why you start, and what make Alibaba so, you know, interested in your firm.
Okay, so I try to answer this question because I'm not the founder of 4PX.
Okay.
So the company founded in the year of 2004 as a cross-border forwarding company at first. But in the year of 2009, so the company decided to get inside into the cross-border e-commerce industry because we noticed the trend of the cross-border e-commerce at that time. So actually, Alibaba is not the first strategic investor. So the first one is Singapore Post. They invested 4PX as the year of 2011. So Alibaba began to invest us from the year of 2016. So you know, the reason that you said why Alibaba invest us, because in terms of revenue, in terms of parcels every day, so currently we are the #1 in China for both inbound and outbound. So every day we handle about more than 1 million parcels.
Wow.
So you know, during the Double 11 we just finished last week, so we handle 10 million parcels a day.
A day.
So all the parcels is cross-border related.
Wow.
So I think that is the reason why Alibaba invested us. So we are the logistics arm, part of the logistics arm of Alibaba total logistics ecosystem.
It's interesting because a lot of people, when they think of the digital world, they think everything is digital. But what you just say, it's really a bit different, because even you place order, somebody have to actually deliver, right?
Yes.
Because you cannot order a digital dress.
Yeah.
It's a real dress.
Yeah, you're right.
So somebody must
You're
deliver.
right. And no matter how advanced for the e-commerce, you have to deliver the physical goods from the sellers to the buyers.
Yes.
But in the digital area, we have to try to put everything in data.
Yes.
I mean, from the pickup to the delivery,
Yes.
you have line haul, customer clearance, we put everything in the data. So in this case, the buyers and the sellers, they have the visibility online.
Traceability.
All the
Traceability.
tracking record. So this is data area.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's where the efficiency come, I would say, right?
Yeah.
You know, because when you know where your good is coming from, when you know how far is it now, you know, so this is quite interesting, because from Alibaba, that's how they become a #1, right? Yeah. But Sophie, you just get connected with 4PX in recent years, but when you decide to start your company, what's the name of the company again?
ShopRunBack.
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 Wow, ShopRunBack. Interesting. You have to tell me why ShopRunBack. What does it mean? How you get that word? It's because it's quite interesting. When you decide to start in France, what triggered that?
What I just said before, we are specialized in logistics for e-commerce, and then after that we are now more specialized in reverse logistics.
Yes.
Why reverse? Because it's a very important part as well for the online business.
But what made you spot that niche market?
Niche market, because there's less competitors, and then it's very important to give a customer a good experience when they are buying online. Because when you buy online, you always I want my products, but what in case if I don't like my products? So the experience doesn't stop at delivery, because in Europe, for example, we have return law. So yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There is a legislation to regulate the return. Okay.
Yes. And then so each online company needs to follow this law.
I see.
So
Interesting.
every consumer they buy, and then they have 30 days to return the
Okay.
products.
Okay.
So this experience is very important. It can increase consumer satisfaction and boost sales for the online.
Interesting. So your idea came from a legal requirement,
Yes.
and then from there you transform that legal requirement into a business opportunity.
Yeah. Yes.
Very smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if I may add one point on this, because we also noticed that besides the return law in Europe or in US, a lot of marketplaces, including Amazon, including AliExpress, they now have the regulatory or regulations
Yes.
to ask the sellers they can
Yes.
provide this kind of return services
Okay.
in different countries. So that's the reason why we want to integrate the services of ShopRunBack together with the 4PX to provide a better and total solution to both sellers and buyers.
Yeah. So in a way, in this whole supply chain, right? From placing the order to the actual delivery, and then
Return.
going reverse for those who are not happy. This is pretty much a whole ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
It's a whole ecosystem. Yeah. That must be a lot of people along the, a lot of actors
Yes.
along the way.
Yes.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of players on the way.
Yes,
I
yes,
just
yes.
give you example that if foreign buyers to buy a product from China, so we have to do the pickup by 4PX. We used to use our facility to do the sortation. After that, we use our partnership to do the outbound clearance, line haul, inbound clearance, last mile, and return services. So we use our technology to integrate the services of different partners together. So in the future, if we invest in Cambodia, we use a similar methodologies to find the local partners. We can work with them together to provide services here.
I like when you say when we invest in Cambodia, not if we invest. When we invest, I like that word. Sophie, you're a Cambodian. I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're able to convince big company to consider a small 16 million market size company that we also have a market, not big, but we do matter. When you start your company in France, of course it had to start with a country, right?
Yes.
At what point in your business model you start to think, wait a minute, even France is too small?
Yeah. Our business started in Paris, but we were thinking about like expanding our business in European countries. So that means e-commerce for cross-border, but start with the European markets.
Yes.
So today, we are doing reverse logistics, and we have built a very strong reverse network in Europe.
Where? London? Whatever?
We are now based in 20 countries in Europe.
Wow.
Yes,
awesome.
we provide to consumer a reverse local experience.
Okay.
When they buy across border, it means that when they return, they don't need to think that I need to return from UK to Spain or from UK to France, for example. So the satisfaction begin, and you have shorter times to return your goods and a shorter time to be refunded.
So if I go to Champs-Élysées and I buy a nice bag, and it turns out there's a defect there, but I happen to be in London, so I don't have to bring back to Champs-Élysées in Paris?
In that case, you buy an offline shop.
No, say I order.
Yes,
you're right. Yeah, you're
yes,
right.
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we have built an IT system
Yes.
to integrate directly in the online website
Yes.
of each customer
Yes.
that we are.
So there are traceability.
Yes.
There are traceability,
Yes.
right?
So we are in the front line of the online shop.
Yes.
So customer can manage their returns with the
Yes. Stephen, you're number one in China, outbound and inbound, right?
Yeah.
How about in other major market, US, Europe, Japan? Where are you?
Yeah, actually, so we are quite strong in the market of Europe, US, Japan, Australia, Korea.
Yes.
In terms of spaces of warehouses, we have now more than 5 million square feet worldwide.
Wow.
So now the biggest warehouse is in Czech Republic near the Prague
Is that
airport.
right? Okay.
Yeah, so space is about 700,000 square feet.
Wow.
Yeah, so that is the biggest warehouse worldwide. So we have around 17 warehouses in Europe and 6 big warehouses in US. Yeah, 3 in Australia.
So they are sort of like hub, right? To cover a certain region, right?
Some of them are hub. For example, we have 2 hubs, or we see 2 entry point or gateway in Europe.
Yes.
One is in London for the UK. Another for the Europe mainland is in Belgium.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is a kind of hub or gateway.
Now, what's the difference between hub and gateway?
Hub and gateway. Hub is kind of a concept of operation, but gateway is a concept of the parcel go inside or outside. So that will be different. We see a hub or gateway, we have a different kind of logistics.
Yes.
We have air freight, we have sea freight, we have truck network, we have railways, we have big warehouses there to do the local fulfillment. So that is the concept of gateway.
Well, it's a good time to take a short break. And then when we come back, we'll continue this very exciting discussion. And I learned a lot. All right, we'll take a short break.
កម្មវិធីកិច្ចសន្ទនាកម្ពុជានិងពិភពលោក
Stephen, okay, we talk about logistics. Sophie, you touch about reverse logistics, Paris, London, China, everything. I'm very interested to see, does a country as small as Cambodia, when I say small, well, we're 16 million. We're larger than Brunei, we're larger than Laos. Okay, let's be real, right? But we are in between an 80 million market size of Vietnam, a 70 million market size of Thailand. And we are squeezing between there. And to me, size matter, right? From the commerce perspective, right? But I think that in a digital world, the world is flat. The world is flat. So how do you see a country like Cambodia can enter into this digital world?
So
and can we matter? Can we matter?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So this is the second trip for me to be in Cambodia this year. So last trip about half year ago is kind of fact-finding trip. So we understand the market, understand the local authorities. We meet a lot of partners here. So we think we can have some existence and work with the local partners to do something here. So the reason is, number one, the location of Cambodia is very good. So it's in the center of Lantau Mekong country cluster. So it's very good. So you just said the local market of Cambodia maybe is not so big, but what we see is not only in Cambodia. We want to make Cambodia to be the center, to be the hub, as I just mentioned, to provide the services not only in Cambodia, but to the countries nearby. So this is number one. So number two, we notice that Cambodia is a young country. They have a lot of young talents. So they have quite easier for them to accept a new concept. They are eager to get inside into the e-commerce industry. So, with my experience in China 10 years ago, the cross-border e-commerce just started. A lot of people, a lot of young entrepreneurs, they just started from one person, one computer. They don't understand English, but they use Google Translation to sell Chinese product overseas. Now a lot of companies, they grown up. They have thousands of employees, but they started from zero. So this is number two. Number three, Cambodia, compare with other Southeast Asia countries, the labor cost is still very low. So we noticed the trend that a lot of productions, they migrate from China, from other countries to Cambodia. So that enable the operations and logistics, the customer service, the total cost is low here. So number four, so we find a good, lovely, supportive local partners like ShopRunBack, like some other companies, we have solid plan with them to work out in Cambodia. So number 5, I should mention that we have also a conversation with the local government. We have.
You had a good meeting with the Minister of Public Work and Transport, Excellency Sun Chantora. He's supportive of that.
Yes, he's quite supportive, and as I understand, he has a very good insight of e-commerce and cross-border e-commerce. It's not like other government or other government officials we meet in other countries. They want we invest, but they are not so supportive. They don't know. They don't really understand what we will do in their country. But Mr. Sun Chantora is different. So we have a discussion with him, and also he asked us to have a solid plan for midterm, long term, and short term.
Good. Well, I mean, you mentioned a local partner. I think, Sophie, before I give you the floor, in ASEAN, I'm looking at ASEAN, right? You mentioned the Mekong Lanchang region, which is basically the low Mekong region that made up of 5 countries and the lower part of China. Right now, if you look at the global analysis, regional analysis, this sub-region is a growth center. In the context of ASEAN, you have the continental ASEAN, which is the Mekong region, and then you have the maritime. The Philippines, Indonesia, they're all maritime, right? Island and so on. But the continental bloc is that. And China, Japan, India, Korea, even America, Europe, they see that continental bloc as one bloc, which happen to have 5 countries. But from their commerce perspective, border don't matter. You still have the political border, but in the trade world, there's no real border. We are in ASEAN now, ASEAN Economic Community. The border barrier is very low. The good cross, and we can take advantage of that. So Sophie, coming from a country like France, in Europe, where it's so sophisticated, you come back to Cambodia, you bring that concept. How do you see? Are there any resistance from people who say, "Oh, Sophie, you're not going to make it. Cambodia is too small, whatever." How does the people you interact here? How do they feel about that?
I think Cambodia is a very young country, so they are very ready to discover new trends. Especially as you can see now, the number of smartphone user. So to bring the e-commerce business here, it's a very good time. Because and then young people now, they are like English speakers. So that Stephen mentioned 10 years ago, Chinese population don't even speak English, but they were aware to do e-commerce business. So I think even if Cambodia is a very small country, but as we say, the world is flat. With internet now, we can go across border, and then
and I would say that we are now 4.5G now in terms of telecom, right? Quite fast. Most people have 2 phones.
So we can see the start point from here is better than China, because 10 years ago there's no 4.5, it's only 3G. Because they use desktop. The mobile penetration in China 10 years ago is very low. So in this case, I think in Cambodia, the people, the business could have a kind of leapfrog, not just the same tracking record as the China.
So I think in this sense, we have the millennial, the young millennial there. I would say they start into entrepreneurship. They don't have big business, but they start small, right? And you see the interesting, Stephen, I don't know whether you notice when you leave the airport, go to town, drive to local market, every house selling something. In front of every house, some booths are selling something, right? It's a busy city.
Yes.
It's and it's all about the people.
Yes.
You know, they have this idea, I want to sell this, I want to sell that, and they start a small business, they send their kid to school, the kids come back 5 years later,
Yes.
take over the family business, and take to the next step.
Yeah.
I mentor quite a bit of this generation of young entrepreneurs, and I see for the last 6-7 years, I see their progression.
Yeah.
I see their progression. And I think there's one thing to be entrepreneurial, but if the country do not offer the possibility, the openness, the freedom,
Yeah.
they also stifle.
Yeah.
So the good thing about Cambodia, and I happen to be one who brought Cambodia to WTO, we opened up a country to the world. Policy matter.
Yeah.
To be able to let your population move that. Look, guys,
Yes.
if you have idea, you want to do something, you can do it.
Yeah.
This is, to me, is very, very important. You know, and this is where I'm trying to lead my next question to you, Stephen, is that if Cambodia have a lot of this young millennial doing some business along the way, different shop there, how do you, as this mega platform, how do you bring the small medium enterprise into your supply chain? How do you do that? Are you doing that in China? And can we replicate something like this here?
Yeah, I think we can, here in Cambodia, we can copy some successful story in China, but we have to, according to the circumstances, the real fact here.
Yes.
So that will be a little bit different. In China, so you just said that the world is flat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, traditionally for cross-border business or international trade, so that area is dominated by big companies, by big multinationals.
Yes.
But with online cross-border e-commerce, so SMEs, small companies, even individuals, they have the capability to sell and buy globally.
Yes.
So this is thanks to the internet.
Yeah.
So in this case, I just said, the cross-border e-commerce in China started 10 years ago, but now they have a lot of big companies that they've grown bigger. At the same time, they established and set up a new brand, Chinese brands, globally online, not through the traditional trade.
Good.
So this is
all right. Stephen, we're going to stop here and take a break, and after that, I want to dwell more on what we should do
okay
as a government in terms of policy, as company, what we should do.
Okay.
And I think this would be a good way to wrap up our discussion.
Yeah.
So
Thank
fast.
you.
Yeah.
កម្មវិធីកិច្ចសន្ទនាកម្ពុជានិងពិភពលោក
Stephen, you mentioned you've been doing this 10-year experience, and I'm pretty sure you're not that young. Sophie, you're young. But Stephen, definitely you have more experience than 10 years. But share with us what you went through and how we can emulate what your successful company in China. In Cambodia, what should we do here to be able to succeed as a company, as an industry, as a country?
Okay, so I can share with you some practice that Chinese government are doing to facilitate cross-border e-commerce, both inbound and outbound.
Yes.
Now Chinese people buy a lot from overseas websites, like Amazon, like eBay, or websites from Europe. So previously, there's quite difficult for them to buy because all the import regulations is same as B2B.
Yes.
So for the B2B trade, so for products of the importer, you have to pay the VAT at least 70%. 17% VAT plus the duty. Duty will be different from different verticals.
So you pay VAT
plus
and
duty,
custom duty.
and also plus sales tax.
Wow.
Some verticals, like cosmetics. Yeah, so the total unit tax is very high.
Yes.
But from the year of 2015, the Chinese government have a special clearance model that is called e-commerce clearance model.
I see.
So there's no VAT, no duty, no sales tax, but they have the e-commerce import tax. The rate
see.
is
Okay.
11.2. So it's much
That's
lower
a
compared
big
with
drop, yeah. Yes.
it's much lower compared with traditional B2B.
Yes.
So that is facilitation for the inbound part.
That's what the government can do.
Yeah, and for the outbound part, previously for the individual seller, if they want to sell parcels, sell product one by one from China to overseas buyers, there's no VAT refund.
Yes.
The VAT refund is only for the B2B.
Yes.
But from that year, the individual sellers, small SMEs, they can get the VAT refund. So that will increase their competence, increase their competitive edge for the international e-commerce.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it on both sides, it lower the cost. It make the good is more competitive.
Yes.
Right?
So that makes, for cross-border e-commerce in the previous 5 years, the growth rate in this industry is always 3 digits.
3 digit. Yeah. Wow. Okay. It's amazing. Sophie, in your side, right, being involved in this reverse logistics there, how hard it is to set up an operation in a new country? Because here, the way I say that is that I don't want you to just think of Cambodia because we're part of ASEAN now. We start with Cambodia, then we move to the Mekong Lancang sub-region. And why not in other, if the Singapore can come to Cambodia, why can we not go to Malaysia? Why can we not go to Singapore? Why? So how hard it is to set up a country operation?
To me, I'm come back to my country.
Yes.
And I'm very proud and very excited to be part of the country development. So my goal today is bring my own experience from 14 past years in this area, working with marketplace, with retailers in Europe. But I think it's ASEAN country. It's quite the same. The same system.
Yes.
Yes, because we are Asian country, so it's free circulation.
Yes,
and
yes.
I think it will be the same the same system.
Yes.
So to me today, I want to help. First of all, my own country.
All right.
All the SMEs sell companies here, and then especially women entrepreneurs to go into this industry.
Yes.
Start even by educating them how to do e-commerce business. Yes, it's.
Are you a member of the Cambodian Women Entrepreneur Association?
Not yet, but I will love
you
to.
should.
Yes, I will love to.
Become a member and then offer them courses how to this because there's about 300 member now who are
Yes.
so it's yes, and they always looking forward to have somebody to come and give sort of a training, capacity building. I try to do the same, to show them how we do a legal aspect of doing business, that sort of thing. You should become a member.
Yes, I would love to. Today we can see that in Cambodian society, most of us seller, they are using Facebook or Instagram to sell the goods.
Yes.
So our common goal is to help these people to open their market.
Yes.
Not only to sell in local markets, but around the world. Yes.
Yeah. Cambodia, Mekong, Lancang area, and then ASEAN, and then after that, the world. Yes, exactly.
So we discussed with Sophie already on this issue, and also the ShopRunBack regional expansion plan.
Yes.
So we want to work with Sophie, started from Cambodia, but maybe later we can cover all the Asian countries.
That's great. I think speaking of capacity building, Stephen, at some point you should have some sort of a event like that where you bring all these young businessmen, right? Women and men, okay? Gender equalizing. But I think it's good that you start planning the business model for them, right?
Yes.
Guys, one day we will come, but this is what you need to do to get ready, right? You know, these are the sort of skills you need to have. Start thinking of who to hire, that sort of thing. What sort of system you guys should be migrating to, that sort of thing, you know?
Yes. So we are thinking of to bring business to Cambodia, not only bring products to Cambodia.
Yes.
So we are thinking of how we can cooperate with local partners to do the next step in Cambodia. So we have several options. You know, option number one is, you know, we set up direct injection solutions from China, from other countries to ship products from other countries to Cambodia. So in this case, we have to find the local clearance partners. We have to find the local last mile partners. We have several conversations with locals already. And the second plan is we utilize Cambodia as a regional hub or regional gateway to supply the product to the countries nearby. So in this case, we have to find warehouses or we use local partners' warehouses here. So we can enable the warehousing business here. So thirdly, we are thinking of to setting up a terminal network, the PUDOs, pick up and drop off stations here. So in this case, we will inject our parcel business into the retailers. So we can help the local SMEs to develop, to have a more income. So number 4, we have planned to activate the local SME to sell online, to sell in marketplaces like Alibaba, like eBay, like Amazon. So they
I have booked. I'm going to be one of your suppliers.
Thank you. You will be the VIP in the marketplaces. Okay. So in this way, we will facilitate and we will work with the partners, and also we will take our brother sister companies from all the Alibaba group, including the payment, online promotions, the software designers, work together to have a total solution to the SMEs, how they can start up their business online.
It's amazing. Steven, what you mentioned is in fact a whole ecosystem. I mean, it's not just about retailer. You mentioned about designer. You mentioned about so many different people along that that spectrum of work.
Trying to get involved.
Everybody have a piece of the work, but you all form a big supply chain.
Because we are a logistics company, but we have to think out of the box. We have to drive the business first. Then we have the logistics work.
And I'm glad you say that because you know I'm a lawyer, and when I lecture or give a course to my training to my young lawyer, I say, guys, you may think you're a lawyer, but we are formal in business. We happen to deliver legal services, but when you deal with client or prospect, you must think as business. I say, well, what do you mean? We're a lawyer. I say, I know you have to write a contract at one point, but when people send you email, you must reply within 24 hours. When they ask you something, you got to respond. These are about, it's business, because they don't know about you are a smart lawyer, but they say, this guy I sent an email, 4 days he don't reply. You see, you lose already, right? So this is interesting that you mentioned about this last mile client. Ultimately, people want that service. Is to me, I always think that it's easy to get the business. It's very difficult to keep the business because people feedback say this company, I bought and then. Now the goods, I don't know what to do with it. It's defective, I don't know what to refund, right? So, all right. So I think I hate this program because when we're about to get started, the cameraman say, look, time out, right? So we have 5 minutes left. So I'm going to ask each one of you to maybe have a message to the audience. We'll start with you, Sophie. What's your message to the audience?
As I mentioned, my goal and my wish is to help Cambodian people to get involved in e-commerce business, to help them and to give them a full services and allow them to not only sell locally but also across border. Especially, I want to get involved with the women's entrepreneur, and yes, to be part of our country development.
All right, Sophie. Stephen, my friend.
Yeah, so I think the message is similar to Sophie. You know, we are coming, maybe in the first stage, we come with a product from overseas. But at the same time, we want to set up ecosystem here to activate the local sellers, to activate the local SMEs. You can sell in cross-border international marketplaces. Maybe after 3 years, after 5 years, you will be success in this area. So we'll be as big as big Chinese sellers, what we have done in previous years.
Well, Stephen, thank you so much for coming and share with us your experience. Sophie, good to have you back home. Okay, that should be the message of many other Cambodians who have so much experience, so much exposure abroad. Time to come home, help contribute to the redevelopment of our nation. And we happen to be in a region that's very dynamic. Asia is the century of Asia, and we should not miss that opportunity for growth. You know. So anyway, so I will not bother to summarize. The discussion it's been a rich discussion, a lot of idea, a lot of things that I learned personally on what we should do to make sure that Cambodia have a piece of the pie, a piece of that regional and global supply chain. And I think our population is young, motivated, and hungry enough to be part of that supply chain. So all I can say is to say a big thank you on behalf of the audience to Stephen for you taking time to share, and Sophie for that audacity to come home, see the challenge that, you know, I did it in Europe, why not do it in my country? But I challenge you to think beyond Cambodia, take this company, go to ASEAN. All right? Okay. Stephen, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Sophie, thank you so much. Okay? All right.